What up, everyone, and welcome back to the show today. Another day, another Barcelona win, and I think we can say with complete confidence, probably could have said it last weekend, but Barcelona, I think they're clear and they're the best team in the world. It's not City, it's not Real Madrid, it's not Bayern. They destroyed both those teams. City just lost to Bournemouth yesterday. It's not Dortmund. It's not PSG. I think the next best team probably is Liverpool. I think Barcelona's in a fantastic spot right now. And luckily for them, honestly, the rest of their matches until Dortmund on December 11th, I think are completely winnable. I think you have Sociedad in there in a couple weeks that might be a little challenging, but I think Barcelona could win their next 4 or 5 matches 100% and head into that Dortmund match, maximize points in La Liga and the Champions League. And I expect them to do nothing less. And I think if they can keep winning, by 3, 4 goals in these matches, they're going to prove that, this isn't a fluke that we beat some of these good teams. We're consistently doing this against every single team in La Liga, in the Champions League, against Real Madrid, against Bayern Munich. And I think if they keep it up, I really don't know how they get stopped. Now, I will say there's a couple things I want to mention. The one thing that's going to hurt them, and I think we all know what it is, the defending and the high line at times. But this team, with the way that they play attacking and their pressure, I don't know how they actually lose if their entire team is healthy. I really don't. So we're going to break down this match against Espanyol. There's a couple other transfer rumors and things like that I want to talk to you guys about. Then I have some notes about the match that I want to break down and share with you guys too. So we're going to get into that. If you guys haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the channel. And more importantly, comment your thoughts. And I'll do my best to respond to as many as I can. Now let's jump in and discuss what we saw in this match. So before I get into my notes, I will say the first half was a masterclass. It was a brilliant performance from Casado, from Lamine Yamal, from Dani Olmo, from Pedri. And I got to say, with Dani Olmo in particular, just because he's just kind of got back on the scene. The guy is so incredibly creative. And I want to say that I heard a statistics today, and I'm going to look it up right now. Statistics. They said that he has more goals already for Barcelona this season than he did all of last season for Leipzig. And yeah, he has 4 goals in the Bundesliga last year for Leipzig and 1 in the Champions League. And so far for Barcelona right now, he has 5 goals in La Liga. So that, I think he might have been injured a little bit last year, but that just goes to show how he fits the system. And I got to say, he is the focal point in this attack, in the counterattack in particular. And the way that him, Pedri, and Lamine Yamal in particular, those three combine and play 1 and 2 touch passing, it's not only are they so much clearer than every other team in the world at doing that, but I don't think anyone even comes close. And it's insane how quick and technical and creative he is, and they are. If this team is healthy, I truly don't know how they actually lose a match this season unless their defense is complete shit and they let up 3 or 4 goals. Honestly, I think that's the only way they lose. Another shout out to Pedri and Casado. Again, just Pedri, his work rate first and foremost has gone up. He's always been a very creative and gifted and smart and calm player, but he actually has a great work ethic this season. Maybe he's more comfortable physically and he feels stronger, and he hasn't gotten injured yet, knock on wood, but the way that he tracks back and will try and win the ball back and defend and hustles, we didn't see that as frequently before. And again, it probably due to injuries. But then Casado, again, the guy has so much energy. Part of me thinks that maybe in the second half when things started slowing down was because they took Casado off and brought on Frankie de Jong. And the one thing I'll say about Frankie is, as incredible as he is, I still have a little bit of critique because there are moments, it's like he's too much of a supporting player. It's like he'll pass the ball, and instead of passing and pushing up to try and get the ball back, do a 1-2, dribble, beat someone, and start a counterattack himself, he'll play a nice ball to someone, and then he'll shift over and try and support that player. I thought under Flick we were going to see a little more directness from him. And again, I know he's only been playing a few matches this season, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And of course, things are going to change throughout the season, but even just the way that he's coming off the bench and how well Pedri and Casado have been playing, and they've solidified themselves as the 2 pivots. Like, no one's taking their spot unless one of them get injured, I guarantee it. And why would you change anything? You can see there's a picture of Fermin and Frankie when Barca scores, I think, their 3rd goal. Frankie in particular is like sitting just like this, like he just got, told the worst news of his life. I have a feeling that if this trend continues and he's coming off the bench frequently, and, I'm not going to say he's played bad at all because he was fantastic against Real Madrid, a big reason I think why we won. I personally wouldn't be surprised if he actually wanted to leave Barcelona. Now, the only thing is there's something with him where I feel like he's just going to try to snake his way into getting the most money possible from Barcelona. So stay till 2026 and then leave. But I don't know. I think he wants to play. And if he's not going to be starting most matches, I don't know. Part of me thinks that there's a chance and an opportunity that he can leave. And I'll be the first one to admit it. I love Frankie, but I don't think it's a big loss. I don't. Now, obviously, from a specific depth reason, you got to have him. I just get nervous with the young players and then Pedri and his injuries and then Gavi coming back from injury. I just makes me a little nervous. But again, you will have Bernal next season, but he's still young. It's a tough call, but that's something that I could see. Now, looking at the match, right? Robert Lewandowski was kind of quiet. Another critique I will say that I did have was he tends to kind of slow the game down. If you notice, there's a lot of times where there's some fantastic build-up play between Olmo and Pedri and Casado, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, one touch, this, that, pass, chip over to someone else, pass. As soon as Lewandowski gets it, almost every time, it's like the ball almost gets stuck under his feet, and he has a hard time kind of getting it under and start pushing up the pitch and, start building again or continuing the counterattack. And, like, he's better than Haaland at, combination play and more technically gifted than him. But I gotta say, I get a little frustrated at times because the ball seems to get stuck under his feet a lot. If he's not getting something kind of played right to him, he is a player where he's not really creating something out of nothing like these other players are. So that's the one thing I'll say that I noticed about Louis this match. But besides that, Pedri and Casado, brilliant. Lamine Yamal was unbelievable in the first half. Some of the skill moves he did, there was this one in particular. It was like in the 7th minute in his own half. He gets like the ball comes to him. He doesn't even take a touch and just spins away from the defender on the ball, starts the counterattack. Brilliant. The assist he had to Dani Olmo in the 11th minute. What I loved about that play was, in that sequence, was Casado had brilliant vision, switches the pitch right to Lamine Yamal. Hector Fort makes a great run, which maybe kind of distracts Espanyol's defenders. And the way that the ball was with Lamine Yamal was like, oh, how is he going to cross it? What's he going to do? Trivela to Olmo, one-touch finish. Brilliant goal. Fantastic from Lamine Yamal. He beat a couple guys so easily in that first half. And it's one of these things where every single match, he looks like he's more calm, but also stronger, faster, and more confident. And I can't wait to see, like, in 2 years how good this kid's going to be. It's insane. There were a few moments in the match where Inigo Martinez in particular made a couple really nice tackles. In the beginning of the match, in the 5th minute, actually, I'm looking at my notes, he made a great defensive play. And then in the 67th minute, there was a ball played, and the player that Cabarsi was marking, it looked like he was actually going to get on goal, and Inigo Martinez kind of uses strength and body, stops him, wins the ball back, and then Barcelona continues with possession. I thought those were 2 great plays from Inigo Martinez. What I do like, and I did notice when Rafinha scored, he does this sometimes. They kind of switch. He went over to the left and slowly migrated into the middle, and then he went all the way out to the right-hand side. What I like about this is it kind of makes the other team, kind of puts them on their toes and like, oh shit, what do we do? Because now Lamine Yamal shifted inside, Dani Olmo's here, Balde's way out on the left, and now we have Rafinha and Lamine Yamal here. How are we handling this? The critiques, obviously I criticized a little bit of Lewandowski, but the high line is, again, it worked twice, but if you look, in those circumstances, I'm going to say, and you might agree, you might disagree, it's a little bit lucky. Why I say it's lucky is because both times, the first offsides goal, they were this close to scoring. It was his like big toe that was offsides, and the second time they scored, it was like the top part of his head. So incredibly lucky. And then towards the end of the match too, it was like the 88th minute, they crossed the ball over. A guy got it on Espanyol. He brings it in on his left foot, shoots it right at Pena. If he shoots it in the corner anyway, it probably scores. It probably goes in. So again, from a critique standpoint, I mean, the second half, honestly, Espanyol could have had 2 goals. It could have been a 3-3 match. Barcelona did not look good in the second half. It was slow, and to be honest, I don't know if I want to blame it on Frankie de Jong, but there was a lack of intensity, and he doesn't, like, build up in the play. Everything he does is supporting. He might get involved, win a ball back, and then play it to someone forward, but then he just shifts over and supports that player. Rarely is he playing a 1-2, pushing up, dribbling, trying to beat someone, and playing more intense and direct. And I just thought we'd see that more under Hansi Flick. Now, again, he's only been playing for a few matches. I'm not going to critique him too much, but again, I have some doubts on Frankie de Jong, and I really don't see how he ends up starting in the 11 because Dani Olmo, Pedri, and Casado, if they're healthy, they all 3 have won the starting role, and I don't see how anyone gets in over them. So, again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Frankie de Jong leave sometime soon. I'm just being honest. But nonetheless, I think it was a good match. Koundé obviously didn't start, which it might change a little bit from the defensive standpoint, and I think it was a well-deserved rest from Koundé. He started every single match this season. But the high line, in the marking, it has to be better. The highline will work, but if teams play this intelligently, and they're going to catch on, everyone's going to catch on. Everyone knows this is how they play. It's going to come down. I guarantee you in one of these next matches, we're going to get exposed from this high line because teams are going to wait and realize they're so much faster than Cabarsi, Martinez, and Koundé, and they're going to be able to come out of those balls, and the marking needs to get better from these defenders once those balls are played through. So that's my only critique and the only way I can see Barcelona losing. Now, the last thing I recently heard was there was some random transfer rumor that Barcelona apparently wanted to offer. There's some conversation about offering 15 million in Ferran Torres over to Dortmund in exchange for Adeyemi. Dude, that guy is sick. I would take that in a heartbeat because he's young, he's fast as shit, and he's someone that you can rotate in with Rafinha. That's going to put so much pressure on back lines. He can score. I mean, he should have scored 2 goals in the Champions League final last year against Real Madrid. So I don't know how serious that transfer rumor is, but if that were to come to fruition, I would be 100% backing that. And then there were some rumors recently circulating about Haaland and Victor Gyökeres. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. The Sporting striker that everyone's been going crazy about. Obviously, he's going to leave. He's going to go to a big club. Now, the more I think about it, I think if you get a chance to sign Haaland, I think you can't turn it down. But if he doesn't have a great team around him, which he would, he'd have an unbelievable team here. He'd be playing with Dani Olmo and Pedri and Casado and Gavi, Frankie, Lamine Yamal, etc. He's not a player that is going to be able to create something out of nothing like Barcelona players, like Neymar, Suarez, Messi, like Lamine Yamal, even with Rafinha can because he's so incredibly skilled and fast. Haaland is so... He lacks the technical ability, and like Lewandowski at times in the build-up, stuff gets stuck under his feet and he slows down the play. It would be worse with Erling Haaland. We see how he is with Man City. If the ball isn't played perfectly to him and he doesn't get a clear opening on goal, he doesn't really do much. And we can see he's not nearly as effective without Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne. So in my eyes, I don't know if that's the best move for Barcelona, and you're going to have to shell out so much money for him, where maybe I'd say if they can have a chance to get this Victor dude, I would maybe be more opposed to that. Now, the thing is, I will say, I haven't watched him. I've seen some highlights, and there is incredible potential, but it's just one of those things. Is Barcelona going to pull the trigger? Because they do have to. They do have to find the successor to Louis, and it's very few and far between, and there's even some stuff coming out about Barcelona back with Rafael Leao. 100% no. Would never want him on the team. He's the most overhyped player I've ever seen. Why would you go out and get Rafael Leao, who's being outperformed by Pulisic, which isn't anything bad, but I just think it's crazy. I would never go out and get Rafael Leao. Overrated, overhyped, way too expensive. I would say shift your focus on Victor Gyökeres or a new up-and-coming young striker or something, but I would say that that's probably the next best thing they can do looking forward into their future. But nonetheless, guys, it was a good victory. I can't say it was great because the second half was kind of shit, but I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching. Champions League starts again this week, so more videos to come. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching. Peace.